Welcome back, you guys. It has been a long time coming since I made another YouTube video. It's been over 6 months. I don't know what was wrong with me, but fear just kept getting in the way and I just didn't know what to make a video about. But I really wanted to make this channel focused solely on my health, physical, mental, spiritual, and share with you guys my journey through that process of getting to my maximum point of health in all of those criteria. So for those of you guys who don't know me at all, my name is Kaylee and I've been traveling full-time in this little school bus with my boyfriend Jordan and our dog Lola. And we've been currently on an adventure down to Belize. We actually just came back from Belize. We're currently in Mexico, back in Mexico, in Quintana Roo. So today's video is going to be about the top 10 habits that when I integrate them in my life, how they change my life and how they change my life for the better. And most importantly, how they help me during periods of time of depression and anxiety. So depression and anxiety is something that comes and goes in waves of my life. And it's something that I've experienced quite a lot on this journey that we've been on for the past almost 2 years. Putting myself in a situation that allows me to kind of move away from distractions and kind of dive deep into myself, become a lot more introspective, and recognize the things that I think I may have not realized before when I was working, constantly busy, constantly with friends, kind of just burying it deep. And I think the reason why it's been much more prominent in the last couple of years is because I don't have any distractions. It's just me and my demons, I guess you could call them. So this has been a really, really, really healing journey for me. So anyway, I'll save that for another video. But for today, I'm just sticking it to the top 10 habits that have completely changed my life for the better when I integrate them. So the first thing I'm going to say that has been an absolute huge trigger for depression and anxiety is food. So I have not always had a really good relationship with food. I've actually always had a really, really hard time gaining weight. And when I was younger, by trying to do that, I was constantly eating like really fatty foods, lots of pastas and breads, and sugar and candy and chocolate. Oh my God, so much chocolate. And I don't think I realized how much it actually affected me back then. Now I am much, much more aware of that. Just within the last couple of years, I've really implemented a lot more fruits and vegetables. I've tried all sorts of different kinds of diets like veganism, vegetarianism. I tried the raw diet for a little bit. That was really freaking hard. And the thing that really stuck out to me the most was eating a much more balanced diet. So not going so crazy in one direction that you totally restrict yourself from things that you do love. But just taking everything in moderation, increasing those fruits, increasing those vegetables, but occasionally treating yourself to a piece of pizza or a piece of pie, and not feeling guilty about it. Just remembering and doing the things that you know are good for you, like eating more nutritious foods and limiting the bad foods, but also not being so rigid about your diet. Because I was like that for a while and it actually increased my anxiety much, much more. That is my best piece of advice when it comes to food. Recognize what foods feel good for your body, what foods don't feel good for your body, and try to be more mindful about those things when you're consuming food. Number 2 is exercise. Oh, freaking exercise. This is something that I struggle with a lot. And it's something I know a lot of us struggle with. And I think the reason why a lot of us struggle with it is because we get so caught up in trying to do something very specific and sticking to it, even though if even though it doesn't bring us joy when we're doing it, or you just don't even know where to start or where to begin, because there are so many different programs out there and types of exercise and type of movements that you overwhelm yourself and then you don't do anything about it. So the best habit that I started implementing into my life is just moving my body to get my heart rate up for at least like 30 minutes, 4 times a week, whatever that looks like. Whether it's a run, whether it's a really long hot yoga class, whether it's a HIIT workout, or rock climbing, hiking, swimming, whatever it may be. And finding things that you actually truly enjoy, because exercise isn't always just going to the gym and running on the treadmill. There's so much more to it, and you can be so creative with it. So don't limit yourself to the things that you can do. All right, so number 3. This is a very interesting one, and that is meditation. And meditation is a funny thing. I feel like it's something that has just recently made a popular occurrence within the last few years. It's one of those things that, again, there's so many different ways that you can meditate. And I think for me, I had such a hard time creating a habit out of it because I would totally overwhelm myself with how I was supposed to meditate. So the best thing that has helped me is actually a YouTube video that I'm going to share below in a link. And it's, you can do either the 20-minute version or the 40-minute version. And it's actually from Wayne Dyer. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with him. There's a book that I read of his couple times. I'm actually reading it again right now. He makes amazing meditations, and I've been listening to that a couple times a week. I haven't gotten to it every single day yet, but when I do it, it completely changes my whole perspective for the morning, which only creates a really good momentum for the rest of the day. So that's all I gotta say about that. Number 4, pushing my comfort zone. When you're at your point of your most fearful, right over that threshold is joy. So as long as you can push past your fear and do something that you know could bring you joy, there's like this very faint like excitement, joyful desire to do it, but there's also this overpowering, no, don't do that, like that's dangerous, or something bad will happen, and the worst possible case scenario goes running through your mind. Do it anyway. So 4 examples of things that I have done to push myself past my comfort zone was: number 1, moving into this bus. Moving into this bus was a huge transition. Another example would be making this YouTube channel. When we first started YouTube and we had our joint account, The Nomadic Movement, there were so many times in the beginning where I was like, I feel like I need to make my own channel and make my own content and express my creativity in a different way other than what we're doing together, which is amazing what we're doing together, but I felt like I needed my own solo independent outlet to express that creativity. But I just kept fighting with it in my mind because I was afraid. I was afraid of putting my voice out there and sharing what I truly felt and being vulnerable with others, because it makes you exposed. It exposes you. And that's really freaking scary. But I pushed myself and I did it, and it felt amazing. And I'm so happy that I did it, because now I have this outlet to do this, and I feel much more comfortable even just doing videos 6 or 7 times by myself. I feel 10 times more comfortable doing it now. All right, so number 5 would be self-expression. So something that I've recently been trying to get into more is singing. And it's funny because I used to love to sing when I was little, and I used to just belt it. I used to make like little concerts for my mom in the basement, and as I got older, I kind of just got away from it. It wasn't until recently, in the last couple years, that I started kind of tapping into that again. And I I think honestly the reason for this one too, I gotta give credit to Jordan for that, because he is very into music, he plays guitar, and he asked me to sing with him all the time when we first started dating. And I used to be terrified, and like I would sing but like very softly, very quietly spoken. And as we went along our travels, he really wanted to make music for our videos, and so we started to, and he really pushed me to sing and to make music for the videos. And in the beginning I did it, but I look back at those videos now and I'm like, oh my goodness, my voice just sounded so weak and just not the greatest. And I think the reason why was because I was holding it back for so long. And even then, when we first started traveling, I was still holding it back because I was afraid of really expressing myself and getting that out of me. So as we went on throughout our travels, I kept tapping into that. We kept making music, I kept singing, and I ended up playing my first gig the other night with Jordan in Belize. We played at a restaurant, like bar thing. We played 5 songs and it was amazing. Find what it is that brings you joy and allows you to be creative. Try to tap into that creativity and nurture that, because that is so important, especially as adults, because we lose that spark as we grow, and that's something that should stay with us forever. Number 6. Finding people that I can relate to. Social media is an amazing way to connect with others, to gain inspiration, to share your creativity, but you definitely have to be careful with how much you consume it and how you consume it. Because for a while I noticed myself scrolling endlessly for hours and not even realizing that what I was doing, what was going on in my mind, was I was constantly comparing myself to others, wishing my life looked like theirs, and it was all coming from a place of envy rather than inspiration. So I started filtering out all of the people that I had envy for rather than inspiration for. But obviously the most important thing is finding people you can relate to in your real life connections. So people in your family and in your friends, finding your tribe, finding your people that you can relate to and you can open up to, which leads us to our next habit, which is number 7, allowing myself to be vulnerable. So this is something I think I'm either like on one end of the spectrum or the other. And I think the answer in my life right now is finding that balance. So allowing myself to be vulnerable, but being careful who I'm vulnerable with. There are going to be people that aren't going to accept this side of you. Not everyone does. And that's okay, because you don't have that relationship with them. You haven't gained their trust to do that. So that being said, I think showing your vulnerability and crying and letting it out is so important. But be careful where and who you do it with. Make sure to have that safe space and to find that safe space. And if you don't, then send me an email and we can cry together. All right, moving on. Number 8 is journaling. And this is something I think all of you guys probably know. For me, a lot of times the things that are going on in my head don't always make sense. There's not always words that I can say to fully verbalize how I'm feeling. And it doesn't have to make sense. And I think the thing that a lot of people deal with when they first start journaling is they don't know where to begin. Again, it's like that overwhelming, oh my God, where do I start? What do I say? What do I write down? You can literally write anything. It doesn't even have to be a story or something that happened. It could literally just be a mumble jumble of words that you just need to get out and put it on paper and express it and remove all of the overwhelmingness of it and put it on paper. It can be super, super helpful. All right, we're almost getting to the end. Number 9 is posture. I have had really, really, really bad posture my entire life. And it's only been within the last couple years that I've been trying to fix that through yoga, through chiropractic, and just trying to stay upright and focus on my posture as much as possible. And there's actually a book that I'm going to link below that I started reading. I haven't finished. I kind of go all over the place with my books, but it's called Presence by Amy Cuddy. And the whole book is about posture and how it affects you physiologically and how that physiology affects your brain and your mental health, and how when you stand like this in an upright, open position, dominant position she calls it, basically the good feel neurotransmitters start going off when you're upright, open like this. And when you're recessive and you're like this and your posture's really bad, you're hunched over, then the total opposite happens. So you can only imagine what the difference between the two are and how it can affect you. So the things that I kind of jotted down here that posture truly, truly helps with is confidence, most importantly, mental clarity. It helps with the circulation of blood, and it gives you more energy. So all those things, really, really good, super helpful, and it's been a tremendous help on me when I'm experiencing bouts of depression and anxiety. All right, you guys, we are on the last habit, and that is organization. So what I've realized is living in a 100 square foot bus with someone who is not that organized drove me absolutely nuts. I think really why it affected me so much was when my physical space is not organized and clean and tidy, then I do not think clearly. I become super irritable. I can't find things. Things take longer. I'm just so all over the place. My brain feels totally scattered. But when my space is clean, then I feel way more calm. I feel way more at ease. I feel more focused on the things that need to be done. Things just kind of flow much easier, and my brain just feels way more mentally clear. So obviously you can take these 10 things with a grain of salt, or if you have any more questions about any of them, you can shoot me an email. I'll put all my information in the description below. But to be honest, these 10 things have completely changed my life, and for the better. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it for you guys. So I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for coming along and watching this video. Everything you need to find, books, recommendations, YouTube videos, email, Instagram, all that stuff, you can see it in the description below. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace and love.